Hey, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always excited to be here.
This time we're tackling something that I know a lot of you have been asking about,
Oh, yeah. What's that?
AI and how it's shaking up the world of data modeling.
Makes sense. It's a hot topic,
Yeah.
especially with data warehouses and LLMs becoming so central to what we do.
Exactly. And to really get into it, we're diving into an article from datapro.news. It's called Improving Your Data Models with AI and came out just this week.
I saw that one, January 15th, 2025.
You got it.
Yeah.
What's cool about this article is it doesn't just talk theory, it shows real companies using these AI tools right now.
So practical examples, always love that.
Absolutely. So buckle up because we're about to explore 6 ways AI is turbocharging data models.
Sounds like a plan. Let's dive in.
The first thing that jumped out at me, anyone who's worked with data warehouses will feel this. Automating data mapping and transformation.
Oh, tell me about it. Manually mapping data from all those different sources. It's a data engineer's nightmare.
Totally. It takes forever and is so prone to errors. You've got your CRM system, your marketing platform, your e-commerce data, each one speaking its own language.
It's like trying to get people from different countries who don't speak the same language to work together. Chaos.
Exactly. But the article points out how AI can be a total game changer here.
In what way?
It can actually interpret the metadata from different sources.
Like it can understand what the data means, even if the formats are all over the place.
Yeah. It looks for patterns and then can even generate the code to clean up the data and standardize it. And get this, there are tools like DSharp Studio that are taking this to a whole new level.
DSharp Studio, huh?
Yeah.
I've heard the name, but haven't had a chance to really look into it.
You can basically map out your data visually, like at a high level. Then the platform just takes over and writes the code for those transformations. It's mind-blowing.
So less room for human error and much faster development times, I imagine.
Way faster. The article mentioned a company using Secoda's AI for this, and they saw an 80% reduction in the time it took compared to doing it manually.
80%? Wow. Think of what teams could do with all that extra time. They could actually focus on analyzing the data and coming up with strategies, not just wrestling with it to make it usable.
Exactly. It's like going from a horse and buggy to a bullet train. And it's not just about the initial setup. These AI-driven models are easier to maintain and update as your data needs change.
Which they always do. Data's never static, right?
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving. So having an AI that can keep up and ensure consistency is huge. It's not just about speed either, it's about accuracy.
Because AI can help cut down on those human errors that are bound to happen when you're dealing with mountains of data.
Precisely. Fewer errors mean higher data quality, and what does that lead to? Better insights, and ultimately, better decisions.
And speaking of insights, that brings us to our next point. AI's impact on predictive modeling, using data to forecast trends, spot risks, that kind of thing.
It's essential, but traditional methods can be so resource-intensive. It's like searching for a needle in a haystack, sifting through tons of data, manually selecting variables, testing different algorithms. It's a lot.
Sounds exhausting. But the good news is AI can automate a lot of those steps.
Oh yeah, especially when you're talking deep learning. It can take over feature engineering, which is basically finding those hidden needles in the data that are the most predictive.
Give me an example of that, just so I'm sure I'm following.
Sure. Say you're trying to predict customer churn, who's going to leave. An AI might discover that if you combine data on days since last purchase with average purchase amount, that creates a super strong predictor of churn. A human analyst might easily miss that connection.
Wow. So AI is actually helping us find insights that we might have overlooked on our own.
Exactly. And that's not all. AI can also automate model selection. It picks the best algorithm for your specific needs based on how your data looks.
Saves so much time and guesswork.
Exactly. You get to those valuable insights much faster. More accurate models, built quicker, leading to better predictions. And the article highlights how this ties in directly with LLMs. Both predictive models and LLMs rely on good, clean data from your data warehouse.
So it all comes back to that solid foundation of data.
Think of it this way. The data warehouse is like the foundation of a house. If the foundation is strong, you can build a really impressive structure on top of it. In this case, that structure is your predictive models, A&D your LLMs.
So are you saying you could have an LLM that can take the results of your predictive model and explain it in a way anyone can understand?
Precisely. Think of a business executive who's not a data scientist. Instead of trying to decipher complex charts, they could just ask the LLM, hey, what are the key takeaways from this customer churn prediction? and the LLM would give him a clear, concise summary highlighting the most important points.
Like an AI translator for data.
Exactly. The article even gave an example. A global retailer used Databricks AutoML to predict product demand for the holidays. Then, they fed that into an LLM to create simple summaries that anyone could understand. It was a fully automated pipeline for insights and reporting.
Super cool. But even with the best AI, it all comes back to the data quality, right?
You got it. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say. And that brings us to the third point from the article, real-time data quality enhancement.
In today's world, data's coming at us from every direction. Websites, social media, sensors. It's overwhelming. Easy for errors to sneak in.
Like drinking from a fire hose. You can't possibly catch every drop.
Right. But AI is stepping up here too. AI algorithms can monitor those data streams constantly.
Real-time, on the fly, looking for anything that seems off.
They can spot anomalies, duplicates, even fix inconsistencies as the data's flowing in. So your data warehouse is always getting a clean feed.
Like having an AI quality control expert watching over your data 24/7.
The article talks about a company called Striim that's doing this for a logistics company.
What are they monitoring?
Data from thousands of delivery trucks in real time. AI-powered rules are flagging weird readings, like if a truck's speeding. They even correct errors automatically. So when an LLM goes to use that data, it's getting a true picture of what's happening on the road.
That's a fantastic example of how AI is ensuring data quality at a massive scale. And it's not just for the sake of having clean data. It directly impacts those downstream applications like those LLMs we've been talking about. They need accurate data to provide accurate insights, right?
Makes sense. But even with clean, high-quality data, there's another hurdle.
Yeah.
You got to make sure your data warehouse is structured efficiently so you can actually use the data.
That's where point number 4 comes in. Scenario simulation and data structure optimization.
Okay, break that down for me.
So we're talking about choosing the right schema for your data warehouse, things like star schema versus snowflake schema.
And figuring out how to index the data so queries run quickly.
Exactly. These decisions get super complicated as your data grows and the types of questions you're asking get more complex.
Imagine you have billions of sales records in your data warehouse. If it's not organized properly, even a simple query could take forever.
It'd be like trying to find a specific book in a library where all the books are just piled up randomly.
Complete chaos. Luckily, AI comes to the rescue again.
Oh, yeah. AI can analyze past queries, see how people are using the data, and even look at the relationships between different pieces of data to recommend the best way to structure everything.
It's like having an AI consultant helping you design the most efficient data warehouse possible.
You got it. But it goes even further. AI can simulate different scenarios to see how your data model will perform under different conditions. What if your data doubles? What if you add a new data source? AI helps you plan for those changes. Exactly. The article mentioned a company called WhereScape that's doing some really cool work in this area. They helped an e-commerce giant with, get this, billions of sales records optimize their data warehouse. The AI figured out which tables to partition and which columns to index more aggressively to make queries run faster. And all of that optimization benefits everything that uses the data warehouse, including LLMs.
So because the data warehouse is structured better, LLMs can access and analyze the data much faster. It all connects.
It's a beautiful symphony of data. But speaking of LLMs, there's another way AI is changing how we interact with data that we can't forget about.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How's that?
Imagine being able to just ask your data warehouse questions in plain English, like you'd talk to a person. No more complicated queries, no needing to be a data scientist to get the answers you need.
Wait, seriously? Is that even possible?
It is. It's called natural language querying, and it's powered by AI's natural language processing abilities. You just type in your question like, show me sales for last quarter broken down by region, and the AI figures out the rest. It finds the right tables, joins them together, and gives you the data.
It's like having a personal data assistant who speaks your language.
Exactly. It's democratizing data access. Anyone in the company, regardless of their technical skills, can get insights from the data.
That's incredibly powerful. The article mentioned Azure OpenAI as one platform that's making this possible. They gave an example of a financial services company using it to get quick reports on overdue invoices. Someone could just type, show me all the outstanding invoices from Q4 by region, and highlight the ones that are more than 30 days overdue, and boom, the AI handles it.
It's amazing to see how much easier AI is making it to work with data. But there's one more piece of this puzzle that we need to explore. The article dives into a specific platform that's pushing the boundaries of data modeling and warehouse automation called DSharp Studio.
We touched on it earlier, but now let's really get into how it's changing the game.
What's fascinating about DSharp Studio is that it takes a completely different approach compared to traditional data modeling tools. Instead of getting bogged down in the technical details, it lets you work at a higher level. You're focused on the big picture, the relationships between different parts of your data and how it all fits together.
So it's more intuitive and user-friendly.
Exactly. You can use normal business terms, which makes it accessible to more people, not just tech experts. And get this, once you've created your conceptual data model in DSharp Studio, it can automatically generate all the code to build your data warehouse using something called the Data Vault 2.0 methodology.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me it can build a whole data vault without me writing any code?
Yep. Tables, views, even the procedures to orchestrate everything. It does it all. This cuts down development time drastically and reduces errors.
That sounds almost too good to be true. But the article did mention some real-world examples.
Absolutely. There's a Finnish company, Metsähallitus, a state-owned enterprise. They used DSharp Studio to bring together data from all sorts of different sources and streamline their decision-making. And there's a partnership between DSharp and ScaleFree that's bringing these low-code data vault solutions to companies all over Europe. It's making it so much easier to build and deploy data warehouses.
It really seems like DSharp Studio is revolutionizing the way we approach data modeling and data warehouse automation. But before we jump into that, I think it's time to step back and consider the broader implications of all this.
Agreed. Let's zoom out and see how all these pieces fit together. Feels like we're at this tipping point with data,
I know what you mean. And what's exciting is it's not just about the tech itself. This stuff can actually solve real-world problems for businesses.
That's what makes it so interesting. The article we're looking at, it talks about this future where data warehouses aren't just static. They're like these agile, intelligent systems that are always producing top-quality data.
And because the data is so well organized and clean, it makes it that much easier to work with LLMs, right?
Exactly. Imagine LLMs being able to instantly access these AI-powered data warehouses, and then bam, they're turning that raw data into insights, reports, predictions, you name it.
It'd be like having an entire team of data analysts working for you, but they're all AI.
The impact on how businesses make decisions would be huge. They could adapt to changes so quickly, see trends before their competitors even know they exist, and create truly personalized customer experiences.
Wow, that's a game changer for sure.
But there's one more thing that's really important to consider here. As AI starts taking on more of the technical data stuff, it actually frees up data engineers to do more interesting work.
Instead of spending all their time cleaning and transforming data, they could focus on building new data-driven products and services.
Exactly. They could be strategic advisors, helping companies figure out how to use data in creative and innovative ways.
It's a win-win for everyone. Companies get better insights and their operations become more efficient, while data engineers get to tackle more challenging and interesting problems. But this brings up a question for anyone listening. With this shift happening, how should they be preparing for this new AI-powered future?
This is a good question. One thing I think is essential is to stay informed. This whole landscape of AI and data is changing rapidly, so you've got to be constantly learning and trying out new tools. The article we've been talking about today, that's a great example of a resource to help you stay ahead of the curve.
And don't shy away from AI. We've seen how it can automate those boring tasks, improve data quality, and make data accessible to everyone.
People sometimes get scared that AI is going to replace their jobs, but that's not what we're talking about here. AI is more like a partner, helping us do our jobs even better and achieve things we couldn't have dreamed of before.
It's like having a superpower.
Exactly. And with all the advancements happening, it's a really exciting time to be working in the data field.
No doubt about it. So as we wrap up this section of our deep dive into AI and data modeling, we want to leave you with this thought. What possibilities do you see for your own work? How could you use these tools to solve problems, uncover hidden insights, and maybe even create something totally new? It really feels like we're on the edge of a new era, doesn't it?
It does. And it's not just the technology changing, it's the skills that people are going to need to thrive in this new world of data.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that. If AI is taking over more of the technical parts of data management, what does that mean for data professionals? What skills will be most in demand?
I think we'll see a bigger need for people who can bridge that gap between the tech stuff and the business side, people who understand AI and data modeling, but also know how to turn those insights into actual plans that help businesses succeed.
So you can't just be a tech expert anymore. You have to be able to see the big picture and explain it to people who aren't data scientists, right?
Right. It's about telling the story behind the data, explaining not just what the numbers are, but what they mean for the business. Being a data storyteller.
And AI can actually help us do that, can it? Analyze all that data, find the patterns, and even help us create a compelling narrative.
It's like having an AI co-writer for your data stories. Imagine being able to just feed your data into an AI and say, help me tell a story about why customers are leaving, or show me the key trends in our sales data, but make it interesting.
That would be amazing, freeing us up to focus on the creative side of things while the AI handles the data crunching.
And who knows what new possibilities will emerge as AI gets even more sophisticated.
Yeah, it's really exciting to think about. But I think the main takeaway for anyone listening today is this. Don't be afraid of AI. It's not here to take our jobs. It's here to help us do them better.
It's a tool that can help us make smarter decisions and unlock the true potential of our data.
Exactly. And as we've seen in this deep dive, AI is changing the world of data in some pretty remarkable ways. By understanding these changes and embracing the opportunities they bring, we can all be more effective and have a bigger impact with our work.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, it's about that time to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks to everyone for joining us today. We hope you found it insightful. And if you have any topics you'd like us to explore in the future, please send them our way. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
It's been a pleasure.